Look, it's that thing that we were all told would never happen. Man convicted and sentenced for misgendering, insulting a male who identifies as female. The article's words, not mine. In a historic case, a man has been found guilty of using hate speech against an individual who identifies as transgender. The 52-year-old was tried under Penal Code 185. It was the first verdict under a December 2020 amendment that created a prohibition against discriminatory or hateful statements on the basis of gender identity or gender expression. The incident in question took place on March the 24th of this year. An individual described by newspapers as a trans woman born in a male body who previously changed legal sex joined a discussion about the City Council of Oslo, which was taking place on the Facebook profile of a friend. Facebook. That's always the best place to have a very reasonable, normal, and calm discussions. The individual ended up in a heated exchange with another man who, as the quarrel with another man, I think. I think that this article's trying to get a point across. As the quarrel escalated, remarked in a series of statements. Do you really think that a single human being thinks you are a female human being and not an old man with strange That's not funny. That said, it is incomprehensible to me that the authorities still allow you to have childcare responsibilities. Perverted male pigs who permanently roleplay as little girls have, strictly speaking, no insulting power. Fascinating. The offended individual reported the Facebook quarrel to police, saying that being referred to by a former male name and with male pronouns had hurt him most deeply. Hurt him. Yeah. Such that he would never use social media again. Uh, just having a look here. Camilla Moe. I don't know who these people are. Uh, the trial was held in Bergen District Court with Camilla Moe serving as police attorney and Einar Rehn, I don't know, bloody Viking bullshit. The primary question before the court was whether the man's Facebook remarks constituted a gross underestimation of the human dignity of the affected person. So obviously that seems to be like Norway's version of a grossly offensive messaging on an online platform. The man on trial admitted to writing the comments but argued that the statements are protected by freedom of expression, and the man would be absolutely correct in that. However, as we all know, governments and courts do not give the tiniest shit about freedom of expression. In fact, they want to destroy it, and the courts are completely ruled and controlled by the government. The courts are another wing of government. You're asking the government to, hold itself accountable for violating your rights at a court, like no less. So, yeah, yeah, I already know where this story's going to go. Bergen District Court found that the court must react strongly to statements that violate protected groups of people, and which in practice means that those who are exposed to it limit their participation in public debates. The fucking hell, man. So basically, this is a privilege, by the way. If there's certain groups of people that you are not allowed to insult, mock, criticize, or any of those things, then those people, like, in fact, are privileged. Are privileged. We don't have any special protections like that. In fact, if you do anything like that to us, you probably get your own TV show. The court sentenced the man to prison on conditions for 21 days and a fine of 15,000 kroner, and he must additionally pay 3,000 kroner in court costs for offending someone. The defence attorney has not yet said whether he and his client will seek to appeal the decision to the Court of Appeal, and that is already the end of the article. However, as we can see here, this is something that we were all, this will never happen, this will never happen. Well, here we go, it's happened. Albeit it is happening in Norway, however, it could happen here. We've already had people in Britain being arrested, several cases of people being arrested for misgendering and for offending people. And then in Canada, they also said as well, the main thing that Jordan Peterson was complaining about with that new law, I forget it, what was it called again? Was it called like Article C16 or something like that, everyone was saying, oh yeah, you're overreacting, no one's going to be arrested for that stuff. Well, in Canada, there have in fact been arrests for that stuff. And that is the problem when it comes to legislation like this. It gets to a point where, okay, like mean statements, insults, shit like that, nobody wants to hear that. They aren't nice. I absolutely grant you that. That's fine. But people still have the right to say it. People still have the right to say those things. That's what freedom of speech is. And when you have freedom of speech, you're very often going to hear things that you don't like. People are probably going to go online on Twitter and call you a racist, Nazi, fascist arsehole, which you know for a fact is completely untrue. However, they still have the right to say it. Or they might call you a fat, baldy bastard, and that's true. Or they might say that you have a really big penis, which is untrue. But but basically, this is an example of what we're seeing. Whenever you get groups like this, for example, like the trans lobby, who not all of them are lunatics, a lot of them are, but not all of them. Basically, they will use these laws as a club because a lot of the times, as I've seen a lot of them threaten it whenever they start losing an argument online. Like someone said something mean to you on the internet, grow up and move on. That's the internet. It happens to fucking everyone. What makes your specific case so special? What makes you so special that you get specific laws to protect you on the internet? Nobody else gets this. Nobody else gets this. It's only when it comes to, minorities, LGBTQ and all that stuff, they have the special privilege of having specific laws that protect them in the online space, whereas the rest of us can go fuck ourselves. And as far as I was aware, we are all equal under the law, although it seems that some certain people have certain special privileges when it comes to the law, but we are apparently the ones that are privileged. For example, if I go out and start, posting hundreds of racist abuse about white people, nothing will happen. I go out and tweet one tweet that just contains the N word. I'm getting a knock on my door tonight. That's just it's not a fair system. It's not a fair system, and I think it just sort of contributes a lot more to the division and misunderstanding between groups that is happening a lot, because that's one of the key things. And not enjoying another group, not liking another group, is when you notice that they get special things, from the state, and you don't get these exact same special things. You don't get this special preferential treatment. That might make a person start to be resentful of that group a little bit. It's like the left and billionaires. How come they get and we don't? I understand that, and I understand why you resent them for it. I understand why that can make even more people resent them for it. However, that can work with more kinds of people instead of just billionaires. And to be honest, laws like this are just going to make that problem a whole lot worse. And the crazy thing is, governments know that. Governments know that these laws do not solve this problem. They, in fact, make it worse. These laws are the equivalent of putting a band-aid over a bullet wound, except in this case, the band-aid infects the bullet wound and makes it a lot more serious. And again, governments know that. Yet they still do it. So see how the problems that these laws cause. I've said it many times before, I think the government is doing it on purpose.